The OneUI 5.0 beta, Android 13 running on the Galaxy S22 Ultra, and I saw a bunch of articles saying for people to keep their expectations in check that there wasn't a whole lot changed here or added, just kind of some minor tweaks, but sometimes boring could be a good thing because Samsung had a lot less work to do. They didn't have to take quite the big swing that the other manufacturers did, because if you look at the landscape for Android 12, Google had an enormous amount of problems with the rollout of Android 12 on their Pixel devices. It was an absolute disaster. They probably should have halted the rollout. OnePlus actually did halt their rollout of Oxygen OS 12 because of all the issues there. And Motorola and Nokia delayed so long that you really had to question whether those phones were even going to get the update to begin with. So Samsung had less work to do, as their version of Android 12 was far and away the best version last year. So they had less work. So I'd rather, if it's not broke, don't fix it type deal. So that's what I feel like going into Android 13. And they certainly haven't broken it, that's for sure, at least on the S22 Ultra. Performance is good. I've had zero issues with it, which is rare for a beta. It's nice to see that they've been able to do that. Now, this is the first beta, this is their first release. I don't know how much of the actual guts of Android 13 they've changed. They have put in some of the features that they're expected to, which we'll get to in a moment. But I can tell you, for the most part, really stable, really smooth. All of my apps have run fine. Any of the apps that you think is social media, Twitter, Instagram, all the rest of it, WhatsApp, everything running just fine. Google Chrome, I've had no issues. In fact, the only hiccups that I've seen and that I had was the screenshot. When I just go ahead and take a screenshot, sometimes it wouldn't quite recognize it, and it took a couple times for me to do that. So that's something that you might want to look out for. There's a couple hiccups there, but I'm sure that's a minor thing. I'm sure that's something they could work through. But otherwise, all the stuff you'd expect in the UI is quite nice. The one thing that I was looking for was battery life. I got to tell you, it's the same, unfortunately, and I don't think the battery life on the S22 Ultra is something that they're going to be able to fix in software. I just don't think so at this point. I think it's a problem with the hardware. I think it's a problem with the Snapdragon. They say that next year, with the Plus version of these chips, they're going to be able to, they have a different process now that handles heat dissipation, power efficiency better. Well, I hope so, because I'm maxed out at 5 hours of screen on time. And sure, you could game it, you could turn off 5G, you could turn off brightness, you could turn off the high refresh rate. But at that point, what's the point? You want to be able to get more than 5 hours of screen on time from this device. Android 13 really doesn't help that much. There's some customizable stuff with the lock screen and the emojis. I'll leave that stuff to your imagination. There are some cool things with widgets, though. They did add stackable widgets, and I've seen that someplace before, but I don't care. All these companies steal from each other. Apple had stackable and dynamic widgets. Then all of a sudden, Samsung's going to have it. Then Google can have. I don't care. If it's a nice feature and you can integrate it into your system well, go ahead and take it. It helps the consumer. So we've got the weather widget in the top left-hand corner here. You go ahead and hold down, and it's going to say Add Widget. So you go ahead and add one in, and then pick the one you want. Let's go to Photos, and we can put Memories in there. Go ahead and add it. Click the design. We'll do just a simple square, and there you go. You can have it, and you can kind of switch between the two. It's very smooth. It works well. You want to get rid of a widget at that point, go ahead. You edit your stack. You could put in the rotation or basically the order of the stack, but you don't want it anymore. You go in there, you hit that, it's out, and you're back in, no issue. You can just have your regular widgets there. So that's a nice way to economize space, basically. I have widgets all over the place because some of them get quite big. So if you can have one panel, if you have room for one panel on your home screen, you can kind of swipe between them and be able to get more real estate there for your widgets. Picture text is actually kind of cool. I like it, and it works well. It's able to read dynamically and kind of smart read text on pictures. So we'll go ahead and show it. So this is just a picture here. Obviously, everyone can relate to this. We'll go ahead and get the lighting there. Restart your computer, the Windows update. But if I go ahead and hold on a word on a picture, so you tap and hold on text it and recognize Windows. I just held that, and then I could go ahead, search for it, select whatever it is, and kind of go ahead and select text and be able to search things within pictures. And that, of course, will lead to better search engine things. You can actually go ahead and search by words in pictures as well, which helps in your photo album, right in your gallery for the Samsung Gallery app. Notification shade, a little change here, but it is quite nice. You can see you actually have kind of buttons. There's a little bit more contrast there, so you can tell which one you're hitting. Because a lot of times it just has the words right now on OneUI 4.1, and I miss it. I can't tell you how many times I miss hitting clear, and then my notifications are still there, but the shade goes back up. This way, I clearly hit it, and it actually gets a little flick. It gets a little highlight there, so I know I hit it, and it clears out my notifications. That's nice. It's a little thing, but it's a good touch, because I don't know if you, like you, I don't know how many times I thought I was hitting clear, but missed it, and my notifications remain the same. Security, they made some updates to security. There's some different options you can have there. It's kind of the granular by app security stuff that was involved with the Android 13 beta on the Pixel. It's now over here on OneUI 5.0. But the cool thing about OneUI 5.0 as well is that it'll notify you if personal information is going to be getting out. So if they're using more information than you think, or really personal, name, location, stuff like that, it'll say, hey, wait a minute, this app is asking for some pretty heavy stuff. Is that something that you want to go ahead and release? So that's quite nice as well, that they kind of get that extra layer of protection. And one of the things that you've noticed that's a change is that companies are really starting to sell security as something that's a major asset or something for advertising purposes. And that's a good thing, because the more you can believe them or not, right? Because it's still Google, it's still Apple, it's still Facebook, it's still all these companies. I understand there's a certain level of trust there that you got to have that they're doing the right thing. But the more forward-facing security stuff that we can have, I think, the better, at least. The other thing that's pretty cool, and this is good for secondary market, if you're buying one of these on Amazon Renewed, if you're buying one of them used, this was something that was formerly relatively exclusive, I think, to Apple devices, and that's the fact that you could see your battery life now. So if you go into diagnostics, okay, battery device and care, and I go at the bottom here, you go diagnostics, you can see battery status, and I just checked it, but I'm going to go ahead and hit it again. And you can see battery life normal, and I can retry that and see it says battery life good and capacity 5,000 milliamp hours. So that's what you want. It'll give you your actual number, so you can have a percentage. And if you go on Amazon Renewed, by default, you're supposed to get 80% battery life. If you have Amazon Renewed Premium, you're supposed to get 90% battery life. And before, you'd have to download a third-party app. It would drain battery. You wouldn't know how effective it would be or how accurate it is. Here, it's right here in OneUI. You could test the life of your battery and see, hey, is my battery health okay? Is it not okay? Do I need it replaced? Is there an issue? Do I need to return this phone if I got it secondhand? So that's nice to be able to see the capacity of your battery for a change in OneUI on the Android side. I think that certainly helps. Lots to be added, I'm sure. Little stupid features here and there. The color palette stuff that they upgraded from Android 13 on the Pixel is here as well, so you can have different colors with your Material U if you choose to integrate that more into your OneUI experience. The good thing is that it seems like they haven't broken it on the S22 Ultra. A lot of times when these companies come out with betas, they're either not working well or they try to do too much. So I know a lot of people said, wow, this update's boring. Samsung didn't add enough. OneUI needed to take a bigger swing. Well, they really didn't. OneUI was the one that didn't need to take a bigger swing. OnePlus needed a big swing. Google needed a big swing to get back to usability from Android 12. So they've done that. You know, Google has done a fantastic job with Android 13 on the Pixels, but now it's good to see that performance and reliability that they had on Android 12, one of the only ones that had it, come forward here on Android 13. If you've made it this far, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Let me know any questions you have about the Android 13 beta, because it is only available right now for the S22 line of devices. I know that's a rough ask to go ahead and install a beta of what would be your main device. I tried to go ahead and put it on the S21 Ultra, because at least it wouldn't be the one I was using. So if it did turn out to be an issue, it wouldn't affect me that much. But now I said, you know what, I gotta go ahead and do it. People were asking about it. So no, it's relatively reliable. Haven't noticed a lot of hiccups. Works well, and the few things they added are helpful. Nice little tweaks, but they didn't do anything that broke it, which is pretty good. Until next time, have that Steve-licious day.